Hello, hello. Welcome. We're just going to give everyone another minute or two to settle on in. Welcome, guests. Thanks for joining us today. We are going to start 3 minutes past 10 Eastern here to give other people an opportunity to sign on. We're so excited you're here. Thanks for coming. All right, welcome, guests. I feel like there should always
be everyone.
Yeah, don't you feel like there should be like some like music right now, like entryway music? All right, welcome guests. We're just gonna wait another minute here. Thanks for coming. All right. Hi, everyone. I think we're going to kick off our content today. Welcome, welcome, welcome to 5monday.com secrets for winning project management workflows. We're so excited to have everyone. Whoop. Quick introductions. My name is Kat Heisler. I am a senior channel partner manager here at monday.com. I am based in New York. Recent ex-transplant from New York City, about an hour in the mountains now, which is a lovely adjustment, and I'm happy to be here. And as a fun fact, I always like to share because we like to get to know people here. I really, really, really love like mentalist and magic shows, and I turn into, like an elementary school kid, just love, love, love that stuff, and everyone really makes fun of me for it. So I understand, I totally get it, but I'm gonna love it anyway. Quick housekeeping things. Please note at the bottom of your screen, there is a Q&A button. Feel free to throw in any of your questions as we're going through the content today in that Q&A button, in that area. We also have the chat, so if you have comments that you want to add in there, please don't hesitate. Yeah, we're excited to dive in. So on that note, I'm going to introduce one of my very special guests, my good friend, Gaurav Handa. Gaurav, can you say hello to our participants today?
Hello, everyone. I'm Gaurav Handa. I'm Vice President Technology within Damco Solutions. I've got decades of experience designing and implementing payment methodologies, and I'm here to share some secrets with you today. In terms of some of the fun facts at what Katherine, I love to travel. I read a lot of fiction. So Jeffrey Archer and Sidney Shelton, they are few of my favorites, and I'm good at playing poker. So someone may want to invite me onto a poker night, and I'm sure I'll be good at that.
Yeah, you're gonna clean up. One day we'll play poker together, Gaurav. I'm really looking forward to it.
Thing.
All right, so here's our agenda. We're going to start with a little bit about monday.com, just so we all have a shared vocabulary. We know about the technology who is powering some of these secrets that are going to make your life easier as it relates to your PMO practice. We're going to talk a little about the world of the PMO today. We actually have a few statistics that I think will resonate with this crew. And then based on those statistics, we'll go into Damco's, which Gaurav, of course, the VP of Technology is from, his point of view, what he's seeing in the industry today, and then our secrets. We'll do a live demonstration of how monday.com can power these PMO solutions, right? We'll talk about the boards, the structures, the automations, and how this can all relate to making your life easier, which is really our number one goal at monday.com. And then lastly, we'll end it with the Q&A. So let's dive into what is Monday.com. At the highest level, Monday.com is a work operating system. So we've been building our product for many, many years at this point. Humble beginnings, starting as a task management tool, but today really realizing our vision of being a work operating system, which means we're really good at tracking and managing projects, automating workflows, and helping teams collaborate and become more efficient with the things they need to do at work. The way that we've actually built our system is to balance both the structure needed to make sure you have that support and the flexibility required to stay agile in your workflows by creating building blocks. So we'll talk about some of those building blocks today, but just so everyone here knows, you'll hear the word board a lot. And a board is essentially the foundational pillar of our platform. It's a main table where we collect data, and that's where we start building those structures to manage those projects, to automate those workflows, and to rally the team around the data of which we see. Some other building blocks you'll see today are our columns, our different views, so being able to see data in different ways from the boards, our automations, which is also one of our secrets, our integrations. Our goal to be a work operating system means we need to connect with other systems. So Salesforce, Zoho, HubSpot, Slack, Gmail, Outlook, you name it. We have all of those integrations to create that full circle of technology of excellence within your organization. Dashboards for high-level reporting, another secret, and then an amazing collection of applications that can turn our product into a zillion other things that are going to be hyper relevant to the needs of your team and your organization. We really have earned our ability to talk about this subject today, right? We work with over 130 clients around the world. We're about over 700 people now. I joined a year ago and I was about employee number 500. So we've had rapid growth during the past year. And you can see a selection of some of the customers that trust us with their business today. What is really interesting about Monday.com is we're generally vertical agnostic. So again, because of the way we've designed our product and the way that we've built our building blocks, we can really create anything that's relevant specifically for your business. The last really exciting piece that I'll leave you with, so we can stop talking about Monday in a silo, is we went public last Thursday. So it was an amazing, amazing event. I actually got to go to NASDAQ and see them ring the bell. But what that means for our customers and what that means to our future customers is that we're going to continue to invest in our product. We're going to continue to grow, and we're going to continue to work towards having that world-class work operating system that everyone in your organization can take advantage of and make work better. All right. So let's really focus now on the world of the PMO. Enough about Monday, right? So what is happening right now in the PMO world? We've done some research and we found these great statistics, right? So first of all, we see that 44% of projects fail due to lack of alignment between the business objectives and the project objectives, right? So there's these two different wheels turning, and when they don't connect, projects fail. I think everyone has felt that in this room. Additionally, 55% of organizations do not have access to real-time project KPIs. A lot of people have it living in spreadsheets or a Google sheet, right? One person has data for their information for their team, but doesn't share it with other people on other teams. So again, this issue of silos getting in the way of being able to make decisions on a better scale. 80% of organizations report that they spend at least half of their time on rework. That means things did not get done the right way the first time. And that's a huge waste of time and money, right? So when 80% of an organization is actually redoing something that could be done the right way the first time, there's really something broken there, and there's a real opportunity to fix it with a combination of technology and people. And then lastly, 50% of PMOs spend one or more days to manually collate project reports. I think the bane of every knowledge worker, right, is actually having to do reporting. It is time consuming. It is hard to pull all those pieces together. You're always worried something's wrong. There's probably something there that's not right. and again, time is money, and this is going to be a really big suck for people who just need to get things done. So considering all of this, there's a lot of work to do, and there's a lot of opportunity to make the world of the PMO a lot better. And I do want to pass it to Gaurav, who again, his amazing experience, right, to speak why we're together today and why we can really, we feel confident about sharing these secrets and what we can offer you guys. Gaurav?
Thanks, Kat. So, hi, everyone, again. Let me start the session by providing a brief snapshot about Damco and what it does. So, Damco is a seasoned technology solutions, services and products company. We have presence in US, UK, UAE, Luxembourg, and India. With more than 1,600 professionals skilled across a wide array of technologies, from Microsoft to open source to emerging tech, we help translate business ideas into scalable, extendable, and secure technology solutions. We have been strategizing and building relevant technology solutions across clients of all sizes. So ranging from small to mid businesses to Fortune 1000 customers, we have done it every bit of it. Now we provide comprehensive range of services to help our customers optimize business processes, enhance cost efficiencies, improve customer experience, and develop differentiators for sustainable business growth. So let's talk briefly about our partnership with Monday.com. So Damco is the largest technical enterprise partner for Monday.com. We have more than 25 certified Monday.com developers, and we are a team of process champions and project management professionals who excel in optimizing the underlying processes. So together with Monday.com, we ensure team reaches their full potential and work without limits. So with a lot of talk being done, let's quickly jump into the action. So what I would like to do today is take you to the world of Monday.com, wherein I'll show you some boards and show you some action that these boards can do for you. So
awesome.
Let me quickly share my screen. Right. Thanks, Kat.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me demonstrate a Monday.com workspace that has been created using a template for the purpose of today's session. This template would be covering each of these pain points and giving you some insights on how this can be beneficial for you and your organization. So let us start by...
Can you share your screen? Thanks, William, for the heads up. So
you can't see the screen?
Not right now.
All right. Okay, just give me a minute. Okay, so are you able to see the screen now?
Got it.
Cool, thank you. Okay, so as I was saying, let's look at the project's approval board. Now, this board can be used to capture all the new projects that you have within your organization under consideration. You can define all the inputs like who's going to be the initiator, who's the approver, what's the request date like, what type of issue is there that we are trying to solve. If we have done some business case analysis, what is the program that's been aligned. So a lot of information pertaining to any new project that you would like to enroll or that you would like to maybe consider as a part of your organization. You can capture those details and everything is customizable. So you could define what all columns, what all things you want to include in your board, what all things are necessary or mandatory for you. And once you have defined that, you can start capturing this information. Now, there are multiple ways of entering this information. The easiest way is when you want to share this information with a lot of stakeholders is to give them access via Monday.com forms, right? So let me give you a brief as to how the form view works on Monday.com. So if you see over here, you have a view called the form view. So if you click in over here, it will open up the form in a form designer view. Here you can specify what all fields you want, whether these are required fields, what all fields you would like them to be hidden from any person who is filling in these details. So it is completely up to you how you want to collect this data when you are planning your project. So by using these forms, you can actually govern the intake process by making sure that all the relevant data is provided to the PMO so that they can approve, reject, or mark these projects for future consideration once you get these projects in place.
And I think this is a really great illustration of how this can help with rework, right? There's so many times when we're collecting information for a project and we're missing things, right? They didn't fully answer the question. They didn't add the attachment. They didn't put the projections, right? So by creating these forms that capture all of that data, make it required, it's less likely that you're going to have to go back and have them asked to do it again. When we see clients do it in Excel or a Google Sheet or worse via email, that's when a lot of this 80% of that rework is happening. And through the structure of the forms, we can dramatically reduce that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm with you, Catherine, on that. And when you adjust the form, you can mark any item which is like a must requirement. And this way you can make sure that nothing falls between the cracks. So for example, on this board, if we look at it, we have marked it mandatory for the users to give the reference of a monday.com board, which is to be used for the business case analysis, right? So if you see, it's a business case analysis board link, which is a required field over here. So I've created a board over here, which can capture the details of the business case. And I can give the reference of that business case over here. Like if I go back to this, so this is a form that will capture all the information that we would like to capture at the project level, like what type of goals and objectives we are looking at, what is the project performance criteria we should be looking at, what are the major project milestones, what is the cost benefit analysis. So everything pertaining to this, if we could capture at the project level, and when we are defining this at when the project comes in for an approval, it makes the life of the PMO so much simpler because he has all the information in one place, and they could refer to this information anywhere. So this provides you with the power of context-related attached documentation that can provide you with the rigid process governance that you want to attach as per your organization policies and processes. So I've just given you an example. There could be multiple examples like this, wherein you have certain information that you would like your project managers to provide whenever they submit any project. So you could mark either those columns are mandatory, or if you want to give a reference to certain documents, you could do that. If you want to give references to certain boards, you could give that information over there. So when you submit when you actually create the form, you can share this form internally as well as externally outside the organization. And once the form is shared, it will open up in such a view wherein you could see that the project name is coming in. It will also show you the text, help text that needs to be displayed to the person who's filling in. So everything that you would like to capture would come in over here. So for the purpose of this demo, I've filled in this form already. So I'm creating a project PMO demo project. I've given a business case analysis board link. I've added a document over here. I've attached, let's say, a program to it. I've given some updates. I've said that, yes, the new project request that has been entered during project or the PMO webinar. So once I submit this, it says all the required questions are not answered. Let me just see. Okay. I'm sorry.
No, that's a good
I'll submit it
demonstration of how it
again.
won't let you submit without all your required
Absolutely.
fields.
Absolutely. So as soon as I submit, it says your answers were submitted. And if I go back to my project's approval board, you see the project PMO demo has been created. There is an update that I entered. So if I look at this, It says new project request entered during PMO webinar, and it has all the details coming in over here. So I could see the details of the project, whatever I've entered, the board link. So everything is available to me over here. So the program, the type, the approved budget. So once I've made this call that, okay, I now have the project available, now I can easily go about approving the project while overseeing the entire portfolio of projects that are there with me. So if I want to just go about saying, okay, I want to, I've reviewed everything, and now I think I should be going about approving project Foxtrot. So what I'll do is I'll just go straight to the status, and I'll mark this as approved. So here's the power of automation that will come in. Now, if you look at this, as soon as I approved the project, there is the project Foxtrot actually moved from the new request board onto the approved request boards. So that's the kind of automation that I put in, and I'll just quickly show you the automations as well. So this is the kind of automation that I've set up on this board. And if you say, it says that when status changes to approved, move the item to the approved group. So that's exactly what has happened. So as soon as they approved the status of the Foxtrot project, it actually moved into the approved group. It
Hey, Gaurav,
also
can you
states,
throw up
yes,
for a second? Because I want to
sure.
highlight just one really important automation. I think it's your first one on this book. Yes, exactly. So again, for those who may be newer to Monday.com, automations are rules that we set up on the system to say, if this happens, make this happen, right? So here you can see the scripts or the recipes for this automation. And one is which, when a new item is created, notify Gaurav. So this is part of really that underpinning of making sure we're not dropping balls. We can actually set up these automations that based on a set of certain criteria that comes through the form to assign and notify particular people. So you can take that laborious process of getting intakes, right? And then assigning them. And instead we can actually create a set of rules and let Monday.com do the sorting for you based on the responses for a form. So another way to cut down on that manual work, have something that is pretty simple in terms of assignments, but time consuming, set up, ready to go, and shorten at least that part of a very long potential approval process.
Right. Thanks, Kat, for that. So as you could see, you can define the parts of work that you would like to automate and create your own custom automations based on your specific needs. So that's the beauty of using Monday.com. You could have a similar work process that has been defined across the company, and this will speed up the project execution. So you could have automations like when a PM is assigned to any project, you automatically open a new templated board and notify them about it. Or maybe as you could see over here, as soon as a request comes in, you put in the request date automatically. So that gives you a flexibility that this request was raised on this date. And if you want to put in some counters that it has to be approved or an action has to be taken within 7 days or 10 days, you can run the counter on top of it and you see that these are the projects that would require my attention immediately. So that's how the PMO work can be expedited. And this will help the PMOs in faster project planning and approval. Also, you can put in automations that will act as robots and do the work for you, right? So let me move to a new board, which is called the program or the project portfolio board, right? So if you look at, and we are just moving on from what we have seen right now. So we have seen that the project Foxtrot now moves into the approved stage. So let's look at a little further from there. So if we go to the program high level, and now we see that the project Foxtrot is appearing over here in the upcoming initiatives. Now, this is because there was automation that we have put in on the project's approval board, that as soon as an item moves into the approved state, there should be an item created on this board, which is like an upcoming initiatives. And if you don't believe me, let me open the automation and show it to you. So if you see over here, it says when status changes to approved, create an item in program high level and connect them in the selected board. So that means as soon as I created that, or as soon as I approved this, the item was created in the program high level and it was linked with this board. So if you see the linkages, you will see that the project Foxtrot has been linked over here, right? And if I click on this, this will take me directly to the project's approval board, right?
Yeah.
So
So this really connects to that real-time reporting, right? Making sure that just because something is getting approved in one team or in one place, we don't have the opportunity to miss that in our overall approving. Goodbye manual step on that part, thanks to this automation.
absolutely, absolutely. And I'm just trying to show you what the power of Monday.com. Because what you could do over here is, as soon as you have made the calls in terms of what's the budget that's been allocated to this project, who's the PM that's going to be aligned to this particular project, what's the due date of this project. So let me quickly put in some details out here. So let me assign myself as a project manager. Let me put in some values in over here. Right? And let me just change the status from upcoming to planning. Now, there is an automation that we have done over here as well. So as soon as I move the status from upcoming to planning, not only this project will move on to the active projects, but I'll see a new board that's been created just for tracking this particular project. So if I click on planning, this particular project moved into the active projects, and you'll see a new board that's been created with the name new project board over here. And this comes in with a predefined template, and you could use your own templates. Like we have created few templates over here. You can use them. We have a project WBS template that you could utilize. We have a business case analysis template that you could utilize. So there are a lot of templates that we have defined, and you could create the boards basis the template that you want to use within your organization, right? So this gives you that flexibility that, okay, these are the predefined activities that I would like to do, or these are some activities or some steps that I would need to follow for any project that's being created. So some steps would be, I would say, not every project would be same, right? So there would be some steps that will be unique to every project. But then there are some steps which are like common. So if we put in those common steps as a template, and then whenever a new project is created, we want our team to follow those templates. It makes their life so much simpler. They don't have to go anywhere scouting for information. They have everything available in one place that they could utilize, and they could build upon that. Right? So with that being said, let me take you to the program management dashboard. Now, this dashboard would be something that most of the PMOs would love to see. Now, this dashboard pulls data from multiple boards that we have, including the different project boards, the high-level program boards, and the risk register boards. So I could specify where exactly these information have to be picked in, what will KPIs. It displays many of the KPI important to PMOs, such as the budget management, asset management, risk management, as well as various KPIs that can greatly assist in improving the organizational efficiency and the work culture. So it allows you to see the big picture and improve your high-level decision making. So let me show you how you could add multiple projects. So if you see over here, you have the distinction of choosing the boards from which this information would be pulled. So if I click in over here, it will show okay, this information is getting pulled in from 6 boards. So it picks the information from the high level board, the risk management board, and 4 project boards that have been there, right? If we go a little deeper onto it, we'll see how the efforts are broken. So on the project alpha, how many future hours are there? How many empty hours are there? And you haven't allocated anything. How many hours are done? How many hours are in progress? So I could see by looking at the effort breakdown, how much I've consumed, how much is pending with me, how my efforts can be justified. So if I have to take a call on whether the project is going beyond the efforts, or if the effort variance is coming in, I could look at these effort breakdown and see why exactly things are. So I could see that the 178 hours are not allocated. So that means somebody is missing out on the resource allocation. So that needs to be corrected out here. Similarly, if you look at the resource management, so it shows me where exactly my resources are allocated, what are they working on. So on Project Alpha, my resources are allocated like this. So I see that there is some bandwidth coming in, which will be depicted via the light blue. And if there is no bandwidth that's available, that's a dark blue with a check marks, right? And you could change these settings. Like I've currently made a setting that a person can be allocated a maximum of 3 tasks on a project. So if you don't want it by the count of tasks, you can make it on the basis of effort. And in order to do so, what you can do is you can go into the board and just click on the settings, go to the effort and capacity, and then mention how you want to track the efforts. So over here, we have tracked that the effort is basis the count items. You could do it on the basis of effort as well. So whether it is on the basis of expenses, whether it is on planned effort spent. So you could define which columns define the effort for you, and you could start tracking it accordingly, right? Any questions I just forgot to ask you, but am I moving too fast for you guys, or is it making sense?
I think we're good, Gaurav. Yeah, let me just also to recap what you just said. So this is really an amazing place to give everyone within your organization, right? Because you don't work alone, a high level overview into your program or into your portfolio. We were originally talking about the intake of a specific project. We talked about how we can take that project, approve it quickly, assign the right resources, and then kick off a template to actually go into the planning process of that cycle for a specific project. And here we're looking at a collection of projects in one space in real-time data to see what's on track, where are we spending effort, do we have the right resources across this portfolio, and give you that real-time, again, high-level overview of everything that's happening within your project program.
Right. And another thing that the PMOs or anyone would like to have is slice and dice the data, right? So once you have the dashboards available, you may want to put in some checks or some way wherein you could look at the data in a different way. So what you could do is you could apply the various filters that are available. So you could say, okay, whether I want to look at only the active projects, whether I want to look at a specific project, I want to look at maybe only Gaurav as a PM. I want to see which program. So if I say only I want to look at program A, so it will show me only for program A. So if I click on this, so it will show only the data for program A. And if I remove this filter, so now it will show the data for all the programs. And similarly on the project phases, and there are so many filters that are available. Now, if I want to see how many projects are approved with, I would say, blank project approval. So I can go in, I can save this, and I'll see the change in data reflecting over here. So you see that the data has changed now, right? So that's the beauty of the Monday.com dashboards. You can slice and dice the data. You could look at a consolidated view of how my program or the projects are doing. And this will allow you to have a simple single source of truth, which is one of the biggest problem that is faced by the PMOs. They don't know where exactly this information is residing. How can I get this information at one place? So if I have to collect or if I have to provide a report, I have to scout for information from various project managers. Now, if all my project managers are using Monday.com, I could just create a dashboard, pull out the information from various project boards, and here it is at my disposal. I can use the information as I want it to be, and that's it.
Yeah, that
All right.
real-time single source of truth is one of the biggest reasons why PMOs come and work with Monday, and the flexibility to be able to slice and dice that data in a really easy way without having to be like a total technical whiz.
Absolutely. And I would now move on to a little more on the project management side. So a lot of the project managers that we work with want to work on the way MS Project works or the Gantt view works, right? Because that's the way we have been using our project planning and the activities around it. So if I look at the project, so as we have said, there is a table view wherein we can define what all activities have to be done, who's the PM, what's the status, what is baseline. But then Monday also provides us with a Gantt view. Now, what's a Gantt view? A Gantt view is exactly what we want. It shows us how the tasks are related, which task will come in after what, and if there are dependencies, I can easily mark those dependencies. So I know what's the critical path, where exactly things are going wrong, what's the network diagram. I could look at what's the float coming in, where exactly things have to be looked upon when it gets stuck. So everything is available to me in this view,
I'd like
right?
to also add, sorry, Gaurav, that this is totally interactive, right? So what's
Yes,
amazing in this view is that it's one tied to the table, right? That main board, that concept we keep coming back to. It has now transformed that main tables data into this Gantt view. And if I decide to switch a deadline or push, reassign a task, all of this can be done within this view, and it will update
right.
on my board. So it's a really, again, what that idea of single source of truth, people just working in one place, not having to do the rework, not having to rethink it. All of it just lives within this board and is totally connected.
Also, just to add to that, that this provides you with a perfect structure that's flexible and can be modified as per your needs. So another chink in the armor to manage any active project that you're working on, right? So till now, what we have done is we have focused on the program or the portfolio level. So let us go a level low and look at how we can go about looking at insights at the project level, right? So we can even create dashboards at the project level that can provide us with the high level views of the different project phases that may move the needle. So whether we want to look at how we are doing against plan versus actual, how are we doing on the milestones, what is the activity status breakdown like, how has been the budget consumption, what is the schedule performance indicator. So we can create all those kind of indicators on the project dashboards. We can even create dashboards on risk, so we know that how many risks are there, how we are tackling those risks. So we could possibly look at the risk management over here, wherein we can specify what will risk have been identified, what category it is, what is the status, who's the owner of it, what is the probability, what is the probability score. So all these risks can be identified at the project level. So if you want to manage the project, you can look at that. And then you could create a risk management dashboard, which is more like at a program level, wherein you could have a look at, okay, at the program level, how am I doing on the different risks, right? So this is the risk management dashboard that can help. And if I go back to what I was discussing earlier on the project dashboard, so if I go to the project dashboard, here we could see the project dashboard for Project Alpha, and it will show me, okay, how my project is doing. So over here, We have taken the inputs from the program high level. We have taken the inputs from the risk management that we have set up, and we have taken the inputs from the project alpha. And what we are getting is, what's the risk categories breakdown? What is the high risk average that we have? What has been the response cost versus potential cost? How my resources are planned. So I know that this is the activities that are planned. I could look at the allocation of effort, the allocation of expenses. I could look at the effort planned versus actual. I could look at the lead lag time, the time estimation, the budget management. So there are so many things that you could look at from the project management dashboard. So this provides you with one window for all your KPIs. You don't have to look anywhere else. You just go to one board, look at it, and you will understand where your project is going wrong, where exactly you have to put in your shoes and say, okay, this is something that I have to now look at. This is a high risk area for me, or everything is going fine. I need not do anything. My team is doing the job well. Let me give them a pat on the back. So this dashboard allows you to make that call at the project level and provides you with all the details that you'll need at the project level to move you further on your proper management of the projects.
Exactly. This is really where the, for the 44% of projects that fail because of the lack of business and project alignment, dashboards are a great solution here, right? Because then we can see the tactical steps and the business objectives and the business goals within one area. And again, in real time, you build it once, it's done. You can apply it to one single project, multiple projects, all of those KPIs, business and project alike, live right in this dashboard view.
Right. And there's so much more that can be shown and explored. But since I'm weary of the time that we have for this seminar, I think I would like to quickly summarize the key takeaways for all of us. Now, as you have seen, you can build your own project methodology and let the Monday.com platform scale it for you. Now, strategic planning has been made simple with all of your most important systems integrated. So all of your data is centralized and transparent. You can plan, work, collaborate, communicate, and report from the same platform. Now you can apply some of the core features that we provide as a part of Monday.com to your own work methodologies to integrate more successful portfolio management practices. You don't have to tweak the processes or methodologies to allow what the tool or the platform supports, but you have the complete flexibility to tweak the platform according to the process that you are following within your organization. So it's not something that the platform is available and then you will tweak your processes, but the platform is flexible that it can be tweaked according to your organization process and policy. That's a major difference that Monday.com offers over its competitors. So in addition to supporting the classic PM methodologies, Monday.com is completely customizable to fit the unique workflows, specific projects, or one-off needs, whatever the demand of the business is.
Cool. Thanks, Gaurav. So I think actually with the few minutes we do have left, I just want to cover our 5 secrets. So do you want to give me the presenter power back?
Sure.
I'll cover our 5 little secrets here, and then we'll answer some Q&A.
Absolutely.
Right.
Just give me a minute.
Okay, so albeit our secrets are certainly a little biased towards what Monday.com can offer the PMOs, but I think you'll appreciate some of the highlights that we just reviewed right now. So 1, planning approvals don't have to be slow. We walked you through our automated intake form, right? That's going to help you really capture the right information the first time and trigger the assignments and review process without the need of human interjection, right? And that actually brings us to secret number 2, which is there are robots who do manual work for you. We really take great pride in setting up these very robust automation recipes to ensure that Things as simple as assigning different people to tasks, creating reminders, or setting up dependencies, a little bit more of a sophisticated automation for sure, are at your fingertips to remove a lot of those manual processes, a lot of those manual steps off your plate and onto the robots we designed to do it for you. Secret number 3 is a simple real-time source of truth can exist. Just knowing, again, based on the data we shared at the beginning of this presentation, how hard it really is for PMOs to have this data at their fingertips. We know we can achieve this with our high-level portfolio management dashboards, with the connectivity of all the boards within the system to show you, hey, what is actually going on, and have it all update in real time within the platform itself. 4, you do have the power to both be structured and allow flexibility. We know out there sometimes there's a lot of rigid tools, there's a lot of rigid ways of doing things that create extra pain because you don't have the ability on the fly to change the structure of the way you're actually managing a project. With Monday.com, you do have the ability to do that. You can be as structured and as regimented as you want, or you can allow for the flexibility. We see it, across all the clients that we work, it works both ways, and you really do need both. And that's a very important part of what we do when we develop product rather, is to give you the option for both. And then lastly, high-level reporting is just as important as our low-level reporting. We know that's so important to get buy-in on the top levels. We know it's also really important for the people who are actively working in the projects to get that sense of the higher purpose of everything that's going on in your portfolio. With Monday, again, we showed you quite a few examples about how we can achieve that high-level reporting with those business KPIs and those project KPIs in one place. And again, the theme of the day is having that all in real time. Excellent. So we just saw it in action. Let's go to the chat and see if there are, or not to the chat, Q&A, any questions? One question here is, how much configuration do I have to do to get something like this set up?
We have apps available for the PMO. You can essentially use that app and have the similar kind of workspace set up, possibly in about 15 minutes time. That's the maximum that it will take for you to set it up. And then you can customize it as per your needs. So that's the beauty.
Yeah. So with our applet, our PMO solution, right, all those collection of boards and dashboards that you saw today, we've actually bundled them. So people have easy upload into their accounts. From there, again, we can be as customized as you need it to be. So there might be a longer project to really figure out what you want specifically for your workflow. But everything you see here, you can upload and configure within 15 minutes. So it's pretty exciting. All right. Gaurav, what is your favorite feature of Monday.com?
I think the automation and the integration piece, that's my favorite feature, because when you work with so many tools, you may not want to just move on from one tool, right? So if somebody is comfortable using Jira for maybe capturing certain issues, and you want those issues to be reported or to be looked upon on the dashboard perspective. Now, Jira doesn't come out with such, I would say, flashy dashboards that you see on Monday. So if you have that integration in place wherein any issue that you create in Jira comes in directly into Monday.com, and then you could just report onto it. You have the updates, you could do the updates from any of the system, and it will be reflected in either one of them. So that's the beauty that I could see with Monday. So integrations and automations, for me, that's the biggest feature.
That I think that's mine. Excuse me, that's mine too, and that's where we separate from just being, a typical project management tool, right, to that work operating system. How can we take the data that lives in Monday or in other systems and augment it to make us all better about making decisions related to my projects and to my work?
Right. And also the piece of using templates for doing the work done. So, because if I have a template, I can just share that template with my team and say, okay, any new project that you're creating has to follow this template. So I can make it rigid, But then within that template, if they want to modify anything, they have the complete flexibility with them. So that's the beauty.
Absolutely. And then one other question is, what do you see as the biggest difference between Monday and an MS projects?
Uh, MS project, if we look at it, it is only for one project per se, unless you are going ahead with the enterprise version of MS project, which is an online version, uh, which is like very, very costly as well. If you look at monday.com, you get to manage all the projects. You could manage them under different workspaces. So what we show you over here is a workspace. You could have different departments. You could create a workspace for each of the department, and each of the department can track their projects separately, can create their own dashboards. Then project, you may not have those integrations in place that we spoke about, like integrations with Jira, integrations with Twilio. So all those integrations are available within monday.com. You could have your own automations in place wherein you could do n number of stuff. So it's not only about planning and tracking, it is also giving flexibility or structure to your projects. So that way is, I think monday.com is far, far superior than MS Project per se.
Thanks. We appreciate you saying that, Gaurav. And one other thing too that I do know for people who have migrated from projects to monday.com is really the look and feel of the project. It's a lot more
Absolutely.
of the product. It's a lot more user friendly. It's a lot more intuitive, right? So we can really, more easily overcome an adoption issue when we
Right.
have to trust our teammates to make updates and engage in the system. A lot harder to get that adoption with a project than with a
Mhm.
monday.com. It was just an easier
Right.
product to use. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, all right. I think that is everything we got today. Thank you so much for attending. We are going to send a email to all of our attendees today as a thank you. Share the recording, and of course, if you want to learn more about our PMO solution, if you want to learn more about how we can adapt this to your organization, we would love to chat. Just respond or keep an eye out for that email follow-up, and let's get on a call and discuss how we can, take these 5 secrets, right, and apply them to your
Right.
world, make your life better. That's really our goal here today. So thanks again for attending. Gaurav, thank you so much for being my partner in crime here and my partner in general with Monday. We're very appreciative.
Thanks, Kat, and thanks everyone for sparing time out for today's webinar. It was a pleasure hosting you all over here, and we look forward to your comments, to your feedback, your questions. I'm sure there would be a lot of those coming in your mind, but you are not asking them right now. So as a follow-up, when this email is sent, if you have any questions, just reach out to us, and we can assure you that we will be answering those questions. And once you get into Monday, you'll understand the power of the platform, and you'll not go back.
Thanks, Gaurav. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Again, we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good one. Cheers.